Welcome to Breaking the Silence Mental Health Conversations with your hosts, Kim Oliver and Dr. Richard Doss. Together, we'll break the silence and challenge the stigma by speaking now. So, take a deep breath, get comfortable, and let's dive in. It's time to start the conversation.
So the message that I get is that I'm in trouble if I talk. I'm in trouble if I don't talk. Because either way, I'm alone. I've been isolated. I've been cast out, put on some island. So if I'm hurting, do I have to experience my trauma alone? Do I have to be silent about my trauma because somebody's going to use it? And now I'm vulnerable.
I think trust is an important factor, and I think you don't just talk about everything private and personal in your life with just anybody. There's good reason why people don't trust people. They've had bad experiences with that same person, maybe with someone else. So trust actually is a thing. So
Is he gone? Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, it doesn't pick up.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
All right. Go ahead.
we definitely heard it.
Yeah, we heard it. Yeah, so go ahead.
So trust is definitely.
3, 2, 1.
So trust is definitely important. It might mean that you don't have any people in your inner circle right now that you can trust, but maybe you can find someone that you can trust. One of the things I think about you might need to get out of a life of hell is a mentor, a friend, maybe even a counselor. But if you're living a life of hell, you might not feel like you can afford to hire a counselor. I don't know. So that would be one way. But finding another person who's living a better life than you, who would be willing to help you find a way out of the darkness of the life that you're in. If you can't see the possibilities, how could you even reach for something you can't see? You have to be able to imagine what life could be, how it could be, even just fractionally better to begin. What's one thing that you have control over that could change? I don't know the answer. I mean, I would if I had her sitting in front of me and we were talking about it, we could find something, but we don't have a client in front of us.
But I wonder which is worse, not being able to talk about your pain or not being able to talk about your successes, or not just being able to talk.
Yeah, because when you can't talk, then you minimize yourself, you shrink yourself, you stop taking up space in the world, and it doesn't take long before you start feeling like you're not worth anything. And when you feel worthless, you have no interest in sharing anything because it's going to be painful either way.
Here's one of the things that I hope never happens for you, is that hell becomes your normal, that you have forgotten or you don't know what healthy looks like. You know, and as I think about the word healthy, what's the first 4 letters? Heal. So how do you begin the process of healing? Is it hard for you to be around people who are more successful than you? Can you celebrate other people? The friends that you associate with, can they celebrate you? Can you tell somebody how much money you're making? Can you tell somebody how you afforded a brand new car, a luxury model, or the new neighborhood that you moved into? Or if somebody tells you the new neighborhood that they moved into, are you happy for them? How do we learn to celebrate ourselves? How do we learn to celebrate each other? I think one of the first things we have to do is to figure out how to climb out of that hell that we're in and how not to surround ourselves with people who are living in hell.
Yeah. Yeah, because I believe, I know it's been true for me, when my life expands and it has expanded over the years. I think about how I started my life. I was in a school, it was the public school in this little teeny tiny town called Narrowsburg, New York. There were 33 kids in my class. That was it. Everybody knew everybody. Everybody's parents knew everybody. You couldn't do anything without parents finding out about it. And now I live in Chicago. I've traveled the world. I've written books. I've spoken on stages on 6 continents, everywhere but Antarctica. And I pinch myself many, many times. And over the years, I've had expansions of my life. And not everybody that I was friends with in Narrowsburg, New York, could come on that journey with me. Not everybody that I went to high school with in Honesdale, Pennsylvania, could come on that journey with me. Sometimes you outgrow the people that you start out with. And it may not even be outgrow. It might just be grow differently, right? And that doesn't mean that they're any less of a person to you. That doesn't mean they're not important to you, but they're not part of your current life. So it may mean letting go of some of the baggage that you're carrying and finding some new people, places, things that nurture the new life that you want to create.
Now, here's one of the challenges as you talk about creating a healthy life. Sometimes it's hard to find your way to some place that you've never been.
Yeah.
If you've never been in a healthy relationship, you may not know what that actually looks like. Even in your single life, do you know what it looks like for you to be healthy? When you think about growing and developing, are you comparing yourself with someone else, or are you trying to become the best version of yourself? When was the last time that you celebrated yourself? When was the last time somebody celebrated you? Now, here's the question. We tend to celebrate one another on our birthdays. Now, the last time I checked, it was 365 days in a year. Do I deserve to be celebrated more than once a year? Do you deserve to be celebrated more than once a year? My challenge to you is, from me and Kim, what we want to say is we want you to celebrate yourself every day. We want you constantly growing and developing to become your best self every day. And surround yourself with people who have that same energy, that same fervor, that same passion, that same excitement about this thing called life. If the life that you're living in looks like hell, it's time to change the station. It's time to change the station. So I don't care how long it's been the way that it has been. I think it can look differently.
It can. And one thing that you can do today is celebrate that you lived through hell one more day. You're still here. That's an accomplishment. That should feel good to you. You survived. You survived without killing someone or hurting yourself. That's something to celebrate. Tomorrow, you want to have something a little bit more than that to celebrate. Because if you're going to celebrate, I survived every single day, that's just keeping you stuck in that hellhole. But I survived today is good enough. What are you going to do tomorrow?
We want to move you from surviving to thriving, developing and growing and becoming your best self. This is Richard Doss and Kim Over, breaking the silence of mental health. Let's have conversations that make sense. Let's have conversations that we don't normally have. Let's have conversations that help us create better and more meaningful relationships. How can we become healthy? Let's do it. One day at a time. It's not over until it's over. It's not over until it's over.
I just want to say, if you have any topics or areas that you would like Richard and I to focus on in future videos, just drop a comment here. Send us an email at the address that's on the screen.